Hi everyone, Ashlyn Giza YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about my uh, ultrasound appointment. So I had a bad morning this morning, hence why I don't have makeup, why my hair is not done, why my curtains are not open, why I'm like halfway awake right now. I didn't go to bed till 5 a.m. Maybe it could have been pregnancy, insomnia, I'm not sure. But then my 2-year-old, as you can probably hear him, was babbling this morning and crying this morning. So he didn't sleep his regular time. So I had to get up, of course, because you can't just let a 2-year-old walk around and sleep. So while you're sleeping. So I just wanted to let a couple of my feelings out before I go to this ultrasound tomorrow. I'm nervous for one, scared for two, and for three, kind of annoyed about it all. For those of you who haven't been following me, if this is the first video you come across, my OB has not really been optimistic about my pregnancy. Here's why. Number one, I went to get an HCG quant count done by my oncologist because I see an oncologist for past thyroid cancer that I used to have. I've been in remission for 4 years, and I told her about an at-home pregnancy test that I took, and I thought might be a false positive, but I wasn't sure. So she said, "Well, we can do your pregnancy test here since we already have your blood for your thyroid levels." And I said, "Oh, you can? That would be really cool." And she said, "Yeah." So she went ahead and did that. And my first number was 47, and that would have been when I was only like 2 or 3 weeks pregnant. So a couple weeks pass, and then I go into my OB for my first appointment, and she does an ultrasound and finds a gestational sac in my uterus, but doesn't see a fetal pole yet. So she wanted to do another ultrasound because she was unaware of, supposedly, I guess, where the placement of the baby was, even though she saw a gestational sac. That to me right there did not make sense, because if you saw a gestational sac in my uterus, why would there be a pregnancy anywhere else in my body? So I started reading, and I read about ectopic pregnancies, but again, I don't understand why that pregnancy would have been in my fallopian tube if they already saw a gestational sac in my uterus. I don't know. That was weird. So she did some blood tests. So, mind you, I already had my first one. It was 47. So she took one blood test on Monday, and it was 6,302. She took another quant count on Wednesday, and it was only 6,705. So it did not double in 2 days. So she decided to do another ultrasound on that Friday and a quant count. So she did an ultrasound that Friday at the emergency room because they, I guess, have a clear ultrasound imaging than they do at my OB office. So I went there, and they got a image, and we saw the baby and the heartbeat. And at that point, I was only 5 weeks and 4 days, and the heartbeat was 118. So the heartbeat was perfect for being 5 weeks and 4 days, and the baby was perfect for being 5 weeks and 4 days. They found an interuterine pregnancy, which is a pregnancy in the uterus, and they found it viable and normal. So from that standpoint, I thought everything was good because it stated in the ultrasound findings that the pregnancy was normal and viable. So I get an HCG quant count done that very same day, and I got the results back on Saturday. And my results were 7,041. So they did rise again, but again, they didn't double. So to my OB, that caused for concern, which I don't understand that either. Here's why. because I have research and research and research all over Google, all over my Glow app that I use to communicate with other women about periods, pregnancy, and women stuff. And everyone is saying that at a certain point, your HCG does not double anymore. They also said that after 6,000 HCG level, it can take up to 4 or more days to double. Well, she was only doing my quant counts every 2 days after my quant count was over 6,000. So that wasn't making sense. So not only did they find out that it was not an ectopic pregnancy, but number two, they found out it was a normal and viable pregnancy. And then number three, I've studied all over that if your number is over 6,000, it may not double, but every 4 days or more than 4 days. And so I was definitely over 6,000 when she first did my first count. It was 6,302. So, I mean, going by what everybody was saying and off of what Google says, my levels, of course, wouldn't double in every 2 days, and it didn't double within 3 or 4 days. So it could have took my body a little bit more because I am older, because I have different health issues than other women. I don't have a thyroid due to past thyroid cancer. So that might have an effect on it. Like I said, I'm older, my age, so that might have an effect on my HCG levels not rising and doubling as fast as a younger woman would. So she's not, I feel like, not putting that stuff in consideration. And also, another reason why I'm getting a little irritated is the simple fact that I have shown no signs of miscarriage. I haven't had any abdominal pain. I haven't had any like back pain except for in my tailbone. For like 4 days I had pain in my tailbone. It wasn't anywhere else but my tailbone, and it was excruciating. So I got a donut pillow to sit on and a boppy pillow, and I started being off of my tailbone more. I started walking around a little bit more and sitting, making sure I sat on a donut pillow and making sure that if I'm not sitting down, then I'm laying on my side, not my back. So I was taking pressure off my tailbone, and finally the last 2 days I haven't had tailbone pain. So I only had tailbone pain for 4 days, and then it went away. Again, I have had no spotting, no bleeding, no signs of miscarriage. And I also, just to see if I could, tried to find my baby's heartbeat on a baby heart Doppler that me and my husband purchased with our last pregnancy, with our 2-year-old, our baby who's now 2, that you can hear in the background. And we did not hear his heartbeat until like 9 or 10 weeks on the Doppler. But I've been trying around after like 6.5 weeks. I've been trying ever since just to see if I could maybe hear something. And I never could hear anything except for these last 2 nights. So last night and the night before, I could very faintly hear if I put the speaker up to my ear, the baby's heartbeat. Now I know that it was the baby's heartbeat because, number one, it wasn't slower like how my heartbeat would be on the baby Doppler. If you can hear your own heartbeat through your fallopian tubes and through like your lower abdomen area if you're angled in the right way, because you can be on a certain vein, you could be on your fallopian tubes. It does pick up on your heartbeat. So I'm not confused with my own heartbeat. It was a faster heartbeat, and that's how I know it was the baby's heartbeat, because it was faster. But I could only pick it up for a couple seconds because I had it angled ever so perfectly, but the baby would be the size of a jelly bean. So if it kind of moved away or whatever, then yeah, it would be hard to detect and pick back up right away because it's so small. So I'm going to try again later tonight, just to see if I can pick up the same thing I picked up yesterday and the day before. And so I can have a little reassurance. So again, intuitively, I feel the pregnancy is fine, but the other half of me, I'm 90% sure my pregnancy is fine. The other 10% of me feels like it's not fine because of the way my OB has been not optimistic, and she hasn't really been positive about this pregnancy. Here's what she's done. She has messaged me in a Gmail stating, um, "Hi Ashley, I think that's a good attitude to have. Um, your ultrasound showed that your pregnancy is not ectopic. However, people who have slow rising HCG levels are typically early in pregnancy. But we can wait. You're so early that we can wait and see how things go." That's how she worded her Gmail to me. That's really going to make somebody feel confident about their pregnancy. Not. So ever since she wrote that, I've been feeling like, okay, well, I guess even though I saw the baby in the heartbeat, I guess I'm not allowed to feel happy. Then she actually went out of her way to call me and say, "Hi, Ashley, I just wanted to talk with you about your ultrasound and let you know that they found no ectopic pregnancy," which, of course, I'm ecstatic that they did not find a pregnancy in my fallopian tube, because who would want to go through that excruciating pain and have to have either a shot or surgery done to remove the baby? Not me, not any woman. So I was glad to hear that. But then she goes on to say, um, well, we'll just wait and see how things go. Once again, she said that same thing. We'll wait and see how things go. And let's hope for the best on February 10th. Okay, that was a nice message, but at the same time, it wasn't, because, again, there's suspicion in her voice, in the way she was wording it, and there was, not reassurance. So it was really, really weird. Really, really weird, those voice messages and the Gmail. It made me be like, okay, I'm only half allowed to be excited about this. I'm not allowed to be fully excited, because I have to hope and see what things are going to be like Friday, and try to hope for the best for Friday. But to me, I feel like it maybe could have been worded differently, and she could have said, "I got your ultrasound. I have good news. It's not an ectopic pregnancy. Um, I let's go ahead and have this another ultrasound done. I got you scheduled for February 10th, and I will see you then." That's all she had to say. Then that way, I'm not sitting there worrying the whole time until February 10th, because all this stuff that I'm telling you guys she said and wrote was almost 2 weeks ago. So I've had to sit here for 2 weeks and worry if the baby's alive or dead, or if I'm going to miscarry or what. Now, obviously, if I did miscarry, it wasn't a regular miscarriage, because nothing expelled from my body. However, you can have what's called a silent miscarriage, or a missed miscarriage, which I have had before in my past, where nothing comes out of you and the baby stays inside you, but the baby is laying there dead with no heartbeat. So it could be that, because you don't really get symptoms with that kind of miscarriage. You don't always get spotting, you don't always get cramping or bleeding or any symptoms really. But I did with my last one. So that's what makes me another reason why it makes me 90% that the baby's okay, because I didn't have cramping or spotting or brown spotting or anything that I had with my last one. However, that tailbone pain was, here goes the 10% where I think the baby might not be good. However, that tailbone pain was so excruciating that made me think, okay, that was probably the beginning of this pending miscarriage, and probably my body's way of trying to get rid of the baby, but my body is just, my mind and physical body just isn't allowing it to. But so you guys can see where my mind's going back and forth. So again, intuitively, 90% I feel the baby's okay, but because of the way she talked to me, I have been thinking that the baby's not okay. So I wanted to do this pre ultrasound video so I could get my feelings out there, and also let other women know that their feelings and the way they're thinking is not wrong. It's very valid. Other women think the same way that you do. And I wanted to just get it on here because it's a part of my life too, and it is a life topic. It is something that women go through all the time when they fall pregnant. They worry about their babies. So, but again, I don't want to have to make my whole channel about pregnancy, but when it's a special occasion like this, like when I'm about to have an ultrasound or anything, I'm probably going to make a video. But anyways, I will do another video tomorrow after the ultrasound, even if things don't turn out good, to let you guys know if things turned out good or if they didn't turn out good. And then that way it's documented, and you guys can know that there's other women out there that have gone through the same thing you have, if you are going through the same thing as me, or have in the past gone through the same thing as me. So anyways, and also for my daughters, like when they get older and when I'm gone off this earth someday, I know that sounds like depressing, I'm not trying to be, but I'm just being honest. They can look back at this video too, whenever they fall pregnant, if they ever do, and realize that their feelings about their pregnancy and what's going on is not abnormal. It's normal to worry the whole pregnancy, from when you find out that you're pregnant on the at-home pregnancy test all the way until the baby is born. So, because that's what I did with every single one of my pregnancies. So I worried until the baby was born and in my arms. And even then, when the baby was born, I still worried about like SIDS and stuff like that until they were almost 2 years old. So, but anyways, I will be on with another life topic.